Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today in a salubrious car park. Well, it's actually a salubrious part of the Lake District. It's Grasmere with Mr. Lee Baxter. How's it going, Lee?
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah,
Good. Anyway, today we've got something interesting on the menu. It is the reverse Fred Whitton. Yeah, the Fred Whitton backwards. It's a bit like the Matrix by Racing Without Mercy, but I've always wondered just how beautiful it would be to ride the wrong way round a Fred Whitton, because some of the climbs are going to be incredible. For example, we hit obviously Bleak Tarn, then Wrynose the hard way, then Hardknott the easy way. But on the way back, we come up Whinlatter. I think that's going to be a very nice looking climb, but also Kirkstone Pass from the Sublime direction. What do you reckon, Lee?
Yeah, we'll be hitting that at about 100 miles as well, won't we? The Kirkstone.
Bit more than 100. Oh no, 100 miles. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, 100. Yeah, I'm mixing my kilometres and miles up.
Yes.
Anyway, we are praying. We've had a very nice flavour from F16s in the rain. BBC weather radar says it's meant to be sunny. Sun, please turn up. Anyway, we're going to hit it. Well, here we go, Lee. There's a little bit less razzmatazz as we exit Grasmere. A seemingly endless headwind or cross headwind were our unwelcome companions for the day. Rain jacket is off, gels have been consumed, it's time to get serious. Bleak Tarn is on the menu, then Wrynose the hard way. Look at Lee Baxter's calves. Those things are like weapons. Yeah, quite a headwind you've arranged here, Lee. Yeah. Short, steep, but very, very sweet. Be
careful getting out the saddle.
Yeah, take it easy. Scenery wise, this would be a premium way to commence the Fred. It ain't quite anything like Lake District steep. If I lived nearby, I'd climb this and Wrynose minimum once per week. Alongside Swell and Dam, these are the jewel in the UK climbing crown. Possibly this is the prettiest corkscrew and visual backdrop combination in the UK, if not Europe, looking back over Helvellyn and the Langdale Valley. Steve Fleming's post-event photo sales will be heavily boosted with digital purchases looking back at the vistas from Bleak Tarn. And as you'll see, with the big spectacular cycling moments still to come, he'd have super brisk trade from the Rev Fred. Hello. Yeah, this would be quite a start to the Fred Whitton in terms of climb. Would be carnage.
Well, this was the biggest.
Yeah, the biggest. But the steepness would create absolute chaos.
Yeah, I thought it was. Funny to see from ample side, it didn't feel. Well,
that's our easy 20k.
yeah.
For sure, an easy 20 kilometres on a run into Bleak would not thin out the peloton, and a traffic jam at 20% gradients would ensue. Morning! Well, that was nice. And you arranged for it to stop raining as well. Let's keep going. Wowee! And the Lake District unveils its armoury of vistas. I mean, look at that. On the run in here to Wrynose from the east, for me, better than Hardknott. And unlike the full fat Fred, we have the luxury of taking it on with only 30 kilometres in the legs. So Wrynose, a gradual ramp of power to I Want My Mummy at the end, into a headwind. Not ideal. Absolute howler of a headwind, and it becomes ever more inconvenient as we hit the steepest point of the climb, as you're going to see in a moment. Harder from the east, yes, but providing immeasurably spectacular views for Steve Fleming to capture looking back down on Little Langdale. After a not trivial run in here, we hit the business end of Wrynose. Hypothetically, were the Rev Fred to be the main event, this would be another hyper bowl of carnage. With the peloton still not thinned out and a pass so steep and narrow, there'd be walkers, fallers, bikes traversing left and right, plus plenty of slow-mo crashes and bent rear derailleurs. Pointing to my badly packed rear pocket, and in the headwind, I didn't hear my rain jacket fall out. A £300 mistake, but more importantly, the loss of the world's best rain jacket, the Castelli Hydro Pro. They simply don't make them anymore, environmental reasons. On this stretch, you're so in the moment, you don't even notice your heart rate soaring like a phoenix. Time a tad slow, but the job's a good one as the pass starts to flatten out. Hardknott, the easy way. It's not that easy, I've got to be honest. It's easier than the hard way there, let's put it that way. Nasty little ramp coming. Very nasty. You right? Ooh, dear me. That was spicy. Shorter from Cockley Beck for sure, just 1.6 kilometres at 10.4% compared to 2.2 at 13.3. So there's less sense of nervous anticipation, yet it's still a big challenge on the back of the other two, and there's no cruising section to recover on. Sweet spot with surges is the name of the game, and I absolutely love this climb. The ascent from the east would, in a parallel universe, afford Steve Fleming the opportunity to capture your adventure against a backdrop of exquisite, isolated, otherworldly beauty. Go on. Only on Hardknott, there's 13-14% feel easy. Or Wrynose actually. And it's exactly the same on the other side of Hardknott when you hit the 10% gradients on the cruising section. Feels like it's almost flat. And just like that, it's done in just under 10 minutes. Don't know how I got a PB into the headwind. Let's go straight down. Go straight down. Yeah. Yeah, probably wise not to run the event in this direction. We are the boys. Dive for me. Camped out in his favourite place, Steve Fleming would still get his money shots. The slow motion, near perpendicular descent of the Hardknott S's. So, an initial hard start into crosswind, off to Coal Fell. However, Lee has news.
New bike incoming.
Nice, nice. What is it, Lee?
Drum roll.
Go on.
It's a Ribble.
Oh, wee!
Yeah.
What kind? An aero one or a climbing one?
It's a climbing frame.
What kind of wheels you got? Ribble wheels, or is it? Do they come with Ribble wheels? I've got no idea about bikes.
It's got Mavic wheels, the metric ton wheels to start with.
They're climbers, are they?
No, they're heavy. But,
Oh.
yeah, but we will upgrade eventually.
What colour you gone for?
Matte black. Of course.
The man is consistently indefatigable, but a consistent purveyor of the bike that is black. Nice. Anyway, onwards to Coal Fell, which hopefully won't be quite as cold in the opposite direction, huh? So Lee, it's quite nice actually pootling along here without having the thought of having to be confronted by Hardknott in your mind. What do you reckon?
Yeah, well, it's a whole lot more relaxing.
It is, it's civilised, isn't it? Morning! Recognise this? Feed stop. The final feed stop before Hardknott, just here. Coal Fell incoming. A steep start to Coal Fell. Coal Fell and Lee. Oh, I can show us your pro tip, Lee. Look at that. All the gels, easy to consume. Ciao. Ciao. On a sunny day, the top of Coal Fell always affords a little bit of an opportunity to indulge in some handheld camera angles. Here, of Lee on his last ride on his Planet X, and the edit is now going to show plenty of epic moments as they complete their final voyage together. Party corner. Minus the party. Thanks, bro. On Whinlatter, we ran into a couple of fast lads on a bum run, which punctuated the climb nicely. Ciao. How's it going?
Very far.
We did a reverse Fred Whitton.
Oh, nice.
What about you?
We just come from Whitton.
Nice.
Just going over to Keswick and then get a coffee and come back.
Beautiful. Looking nice on the bikes, gents. Looking good. Nice. Steep part of Whinlatter done. Atop Whinlatter to the climbers.
Spoiled.
The spoils, indeed. I thought you were going to leave me hanging there. Mint chocolate chip and vanilla.
Double death by chocolate with a flake.
Yes, I think that makes it
Full fat
treble death by chocolate. And of course, I too have the full fat Coke. Anyway, cheers. From the bottom of Whinlatter to the foot of Newlands takes longer than the other way round because it's predominantly uphill and there's a few punchy strappettos thrown in. I'd compartmentalised Newlands Pass from the northeast as a 9 out of 10 for beauty, and 9 in the Lake District is easily a 10 in most other places, but a bit of an nonentity in terms of the effort required. However, when you descend it on the real Fred, because the road is pretty straight, you don't notice the 250 metres at 18%, which I'm showing now. It comes at the final part of the climb. That was hard. Buttermere never disappoints, it's always mesmerising. predominantly uphill en route to the monster that is Honister. Honister lies yonder. Therefore, time to roll out the big carbohydrate gun. 50 grams, courtesy of Striker. All that berry goodness. That's one of my 5 a day. Lee, let's hit it. Nice easy start into Honister. It just ramps and ramps. It's not unlike the grade in Zwift, only somewhat more challenging. Lee conserving the energy wisely. Very wise is Lee, like an owl. The owl of the Lake District. Now, whereas we've mainly had headwinds up until now, I think we're going to be bestowed a tailwind, and definitely there's a little hand at my back. 3.75 kilometres at 6.6% average gradient looks civilised on paper, almost akin to the DNA of an alpine climb. But as ever, the genetics of the Lake District entail something very much more sophisticated, with the final kilometre averaging 15%, just to keep you Honister honest. And the Lake District rhythm beats on, surge on the steep stuff and recover at tempo on the slightly less steep stuff.
Here we go. Max 25. Lightweight, baby.
The final 500 ups the ante and averages 17%. No more surge and recover, simply mash for cash. In the saddle, out the saddle, grind that low and infernal cadence. But do be sure not to burn out too early. I'm running 28mm tubeless, whilst the Dura race is presiding over a 36 on the front and a 34 on the rear, for those Nero show aficionados who are connoisseurs of such matters, and alongside the tailwind they provide material assistance. As always, there's an economic reason for the pass upon which we ride our carbon bikes, and this one is steeped in mining the distinctive green slate used for roofing.
Yeah, that was adequate. 182 BPM.
Atop the pass, the Honister slate mine is a working mine, and also a mecca for tourists wanting a little bit of adventure with maybe a shot or two of adrenaline by exploring the mine underground, or maybe a little bit of rock face climbing, or traversing the Borrowdale Valley via an infinity bridge. It looks like a superb day out, and it's a family-run business. Check it out on Honister.com. But as we traverse into the imposing mine itself, a shot of adrenaline is most definitely not needed, as once again my heart rate soars over 180. This is living 100% in the moment, and there's no need for a £6 parking fee. And it goes without saying that photographer par excellence, Steve Fleming, would have plenty of orders from cyclists wanting to preserve their iconic climb digitally. The PR courtesy of the tailwind. You're welcome, Philip.
Nice one. That was hard.
And with all but one of the hard climbs now dispatched, my endorphins were flowing profusely, and I was contemplating a nice Zone 2 cruise aided by tailwind to the base of Kirkstone Pass. It turned out this was complacency supreme, because the A66 and Matterdale beckoned.
This bit isn't the best.
The cars come past fast. This is a long drag, not to be underestimated, and I wouldn't recommend this part of the route. Full stop. Doesn't feel good. But at least there's now a cycle lane that I'm going to get into. We made it off the main road, and it's a long drag. Not the hardest climb obviously, but very tense with all the traffic, and I've got to say I would never do it again. I recommend, if you do try to reverse thread Whitton, adjust the route to avoid it. I think it's just too dangerous. Dear me, that was emotional. And obviously during the thread Whitton you do go on there, but it's early Sunday morning, loads of cyclists, and you don't really realise just what a busy road it is during the working week or midday onwards at the weekend, and you get pulled along obviously by all the other cyclists, so it's done rapidly and it trends downhill. Anyway, glad to get it done. Just coming over the crest of Matterdale. Dear me, crosswinds, headwinds. Oh, that has sat me. Matterdale is not even one of the kind of climbs we even think about. Yeah, feeling very tired now. 145 kilometers, 3,150 meters of climbing. Kirkstone Pass is the next big one on the agenda.
As ever, there's always a yang to the yin or a positive to the negative. And on the descent of Matterdale, you get to drink in the views that you simply don't see or take in properly on the way up Matterdale in the real thread.
Headwind, happy days. How have we got a headwind on this?
Kirkstone Pass runs from north to south, so not sure why a westerly wind should suddenly decide to slap us in the face from the south. Back of course to the old Lake District favourite. Surge, then tempo, rinse and repeat. And once again, the gradients on this climb ramp up as the climb goes on, so the tempo turns into threshold.
Good. Yeah, come on.
As you're going to see, Lee starts to suffer more than just a little bit on this climb. Certainly for him, it's quite unusual. Turns out that he had very much more than a headwind to concern himself with, because at the very end of this video you're going to see him spin his rear wheel and it doesn't turn very much. Now at the time we diagnosed a problem with his free hub, but it turns out that for the entirety of the reverse thread Whitton his rear disc brake had been rubbing. Brand new it was, and he rubbed nearly all the way through it by the end of the video, so more than hamstringing himself. Seriously tough is Lee, contrasting here beautifully against another Lake District masterpiece, the views down Kirkstone Pass to Brothers Water and Patterdale.
Last push.
I lied, and Lee, of course, knew that I'd lied. I'd never seen the great man suffer, so for me personally, it was very disorientating. Anyway, I've got a huge debt of gratitude to Lee. He's guided me around the lakes many times, and I very much enjoy his company. And through Lee, I have a love of this most magnificent part of Europe, and together we made my favourite and most spectacular film, the original Fred Whitton. So I hope this one does justice to that. And I'm going to leave it to Lee at the end of this video to provide the definitive conclusion as to which is best, Rev Fred or full fat original Fred.
Out of the saddle. Right. That's not well, isn't it? battery is on fumes, 8% left, but this is the equivalent of the Langdale Valley. We got a nice cruise back to home. Been a bit tougher than we probably estimated, hasn't it, Lee?
It's been a long day. That headwind.
Yeah, the headwind.
It's
The headwind.
tremendous.
The perennial headwind, although we did get a tail on Hardknott. Anyway, we're going to cruise back and sum up in a second, but just wanted to share that with you. 184 kilometres, 3,800 metres of climbing under the belt. Reverse Fred is ticked off. The matrix of Bike Racing Without Mercy has delivered, at least on that, with Lee. But, very importantly, Lee, which is better, full fat Fred or the matrix reverse Fred?
I'm going to say the traditional route.
And your rationale, please?
I think the finish with Hardknott at 100 miles is better than Kirkstone, and just the finish down Langdale. Yeah, you know, speeding down Langdale, it's brilliant. Absolutely, yes, all the way.
But do try the reverse Fred, minus that draggy, dangerous climb on the fast road. What was that climb called?
The A66, it's the main road, and yeah, it's horrible.
That long drag is the equivalent of Hardknott on the reverse Fred Whitton. I mean, dear me, it's not steep, but it just goes on and on with relentless traffic. And I got to say, the mental fortitude was starting to wilt a little bit. What about you, Lee?
Yeah, at times.
And I definitely recommend, just for a safety perspective, not doing that particular leg of the reverse Fred if you're going to copy it. But I've thoroughly enjoyed myself, I've got to say.
It's been great, yeah.
Notwithstanding losing an Idro Pro rain jacket that I'd literally only just bought, I've had a thoroughly enjoyable day. But I want to show you just how tough this man is. Now, I know Jesse Coyle and Chris Miller from the Chris Miller Cycling Show and the podcast, they would not approve of this. They would say many, many watts are lost. They do occasionally watch some of the videos. So, Chris Miller, Jesse Coyle, this is going to really disgust you, given just how hard it is to ride on these grippy roads, right? This man is wasting all kinds of watts as follows. Lee, please do demonstrate.
It's been like dragging a sledge around all day.
All these people that put free hub spins on TikTok and Instagram, they're going to be turning in their future graves. Seriously, I reckon that's costing you 20, 30, 40, 50. I've got no idea how many watts.
It's the best excuse I've ever had.
It's a pretty good excuse, dear me, dragging me around this. A new Ribble is coming, as we know, and so I think it is time to wish this trusty steed, what's the make of it again?
It's a Planet X.
The Planet X. Yeah. This Planet X has been through, well, all kinds of challenges, hasn't it?
I haven't been kind to it, let's say. Yeah.
No, and it served you well. It served you well, but it is starting to show its age, isn't it?
Yeah. There's a skip round the back, I think.
No, you can't put it in the skip. Frame it, put it on the garage wall, anything. It deserves respect. Anyway, Lee, thank you as always.
Thank you very much.
Massively enjoyed it. You dragged me round as always. Proper.
I think you dragged me round at times.
No. I think the free hub. Well, maybe wear a weight vest next time just to make life even harder.
Well, maybe I am.
Anyway, catch you tomorrow, maybe Sunday. I think we probably need a day of rest.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Okay.